Hey, Brooke Jenkins, to our newscast. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
Let's talk about the Bob Lee case first of all. What do you want people to take away from the news of this arrest?
I want people to take away that, one, we have a police department that's dedicated to making sure that they solve these types of cases, but also that they have law enforcement leaders in place who believe in accountability. We are not a city any longer that allows violent and repeat offenders to be back out onto the street without any consequence. And so we will ensure that anybody who commits crime in San Francisco is held accountable.
He's being charged, the man under arrest being charged with murder and a special enhancement that it was committed with a knife. People who watch TV dramas might infer it was a stabbing. That's close and personal. It was a crime of passion. Any response to those theories?
Of course, we all have watched these shows, and we are trying to fill in the gaps because no one knows any of the facts just yet. I would just say be patient. As this case comes through the system, we will learn more.
I read a long blog post from the family of Bob Lee, the victim here, and they say that they want to make sure the man who killed their beloved husband and son and father is not allowed to hurt anyone else or walk free. What sort of sentence or what sort of, given these charges, what could the suspect be facing?
At this time, based on the charges, he's facing 26 years to life in prison. And so we will, as evidence is further investigated and unveiled, we'll decide whether we're pursuing first-degree murder or second-degrry murder charges.
Okay, let's talk a little bit more broadly here. And there has been a narrative that really was heightened last week after Bob Lee's killing. Elon Musk tweeted that crime in San Francisco is horrific. There were, in the national press, things like lawlessness taking over the city. I looked up some recent crime stats on SFPD's website, and looking from the beginning of the year to now, homicides are the same, rapes are down about 25%, robberies up 10%, assaults are about the same, burglary down, motor vehicle theft down. Crime by these numbers isn't spiking. Why then do you think there is this sort of feeling nationally, but also with many here at home?
I think San Franciscans are still very much concerned about public safety. We still have a long way to go to make San Francisco as safe as it needs to be. And so this isn't always necessarily about data. It's about the way that our residents and business owners and even visitors feel. And so that is what drives me every day, is to make sure that they aren't just safer in reality, they're also safer in the way that they feel when they step outside of their doors every day.
And so what are you doing to that end?
Again, I'm making sure that we have accountability in our criminal justice system. That was lacking for a number of years. I think that's why we've seen crime really explode with respect to drug dealing and other things. And so for me, it's making sure that when my prosecutors go into court, that they make public safety-based arguments to judges to ensure that violent people, dangerous people stay in custody, and to make sure that real consequences are imposed when people commit serious crime.
You grew up here in the Bay Area, in the East Bay to be specific here. What do you make of that recent survey that was just released yesterday by the city that asked San Franciscans last year before the Bob Lee case happened, how do you feel? Do you feel safe walking around? How do you think public safety is? How do you think public officials are doing in the city? And the city overall came away with a grade that was lower than any other year in the past 25 years. You've been around that long and more. What do you make of that assessment?
I think it's reflective of what people feel, of certainly what people see on the news, what people see all over.
See on the news or see in person?
Both. So it's what they are experiencing in real life when you're walking around and seeing, again, people dealing drugs, when we are having situations with robberies. That is one of the categories that is up. But also we are flooded with information, both in the news and online, that feeds that perception as well. So it's reality, and it's also what we see and what we take in.
I do feel that there's been a lot, as you know, we had the mayor on earlier this week, and there is a lot of pushback to the narrative. Do you think more San Franciscans want to see an acknowledgement from city leaders such as yourself, the mayor and the police chief, that things are bad in some parts of the city and essentially we get it?
Absolutely. That is what I have felt since I took office, is that San Franciscans want their concerns to be acknowledged. They want us as city leaders to understand what they are feeling, what they are experiencing, and they want us to do something about it. And you can't do anything about a problem if you won't acknowledge that it exists.
Do people read, I'm looking at the crime dashboard and these stats. Look, I grew up in the East Bay. I go to the city. I love going to the city. For the average person, do those stats even matter?
No, because it's about whether or not when I get up in the morning and I walk outside of my house, am I scared that somebody's going to rob me, that somebody's going to break into my house when I'm inside or even while I'm gone? When I park my car, is somebody going to break into that?
Do you feel that way? All these sentiments sound so common out in the public. Do you as DA feel that way?
Certainly as an everyday citizen, yes. Depending on where you're at, you do have those concerns.
Yeah. Interesting. All right. How long have you been on the job now?
9 months,
okay.
Exactly.
Okay, got it. All right, DA Brooke Jenkins, we appreciate it. We could talk for a long time about this and larger issues. I know you're heading to the arraignment yourself, and that's this morning over in the city. Let's get you across that bridge. All right,
Thank
DA
you.
Brooke Jenkins, thank you for joining us.